Assalamualaikum. Today we are going to record our next lecture for the plant pathology, and today we are going to discuss about the classification of plant diseases. So accordingly, our learning objectives are: how are plant diseases classified, and why do we need to classify the plant diseases? So to begin with, plant diseases are classified on the basis of plant part affected, perpetuation and spread, the host plants affected, major causes like fungi, bacteria and viruses, infection processes, how do infections spread, sign and symptoms produced by the pathogen, relation to their occurrence for animate diseases. So let's just have an idea how plant diseases are classified based on the plant part affected. Now if you look at these two figures, we can see that in this plant only the leaves here at the bottom are infected while the rest of the plant is healthy. Such infections are termed as localized. And why they are called localized? Because they are present only on the specific organs or parts of the plants. Then if you look at here, almost all of the leaves of the plant are affected, and that's why we call such infections to be systemic infections. Okay, and systemic infections, all plant parts are affected. So they can be classified as root diseases, stem diseases, foliage or foliar diseases depending on which plant part is affected. If only a particular plant part is affected, then we can call them, for example here we have on the leaf, so we can just call them that only the leaves are affected, so foliage or foliar disease. If only the stem is infected, for example in some plants only the stem is infected, so we will call stem disease, and so on and so forth. We can classify the diseases on the basis of perpetuation and spread as well. So what do we mean by perpetuation? Perpetuation means to continue. How a disease continues means how it is retained in a plant environment and then how it continues. So based on perpetuation and spread, so these diseases are classified as soil-borne, seed-borne and airborne. Soil-borne means that the pathogen is present in the soil, like this. Okay, the pathogen is present in the soil, and when the conditions become favorable, this can start to infect either the root, or it can infect the, it can go up to stem and leaves, and it can cause disease over there. Seed-borne diseases. Seed-borne diseases are basically retained inside the seed. Okay, so they are inside the seed, so it is very important to classify the healthy and unhealthy seeds, because if such seeds like this one, they are sown in the soil, so the disease may spread to other parts, and it may eventually lead to infection of other plants too. Then airborne diseases. Airborne diseases are mostly disseminated by the wind, like the rust fungi, the powdery mildews. They are spread through the wind. Okay, and here you can see Alternaria alternata infecting the leaves of the plant. Okay, it is going, it is causing the diseases on the many vegetable crops and many crop varieties. Here you can see Pseudomonas syringae, which is a bacteria. It is entering the plant through the stromatal opening. Okay, and it is causing the disease over here. Okay, so based on perpetuation and spread, we can classify these diseases into the three types as we just discussed. Now coming to the host plant affected. So based on which type of host plant is infected, we can classify the plant diseases into cereal crop diseases. We can see cereal crop disease over here for the wheat. Forage crop diseases, when the forage is infected. Flax diseases like here. Okay. This is called flax disease. Millet disease for the pearl millet. Then plantation crop diseases for the crops which we plant, okay, like banana. Then fruit crop diseases here, like this papaya has a disease. Vegetable crop diseases like here for the tomatoes and all other types of vegetation. And the flowering plant diseases which are particular for the flowering plants. Then, as we discussed in our last lecture, that there are several pathogens that can attack plant and can cause many diseases. So, based on the pathogen, the diseases can also be classified as fungal diseases, bacterial diseases, viral diseases, mycoplasmal diseases, and phytoplasmal diseases. Here are few pictures to show you different kinds of diseases. So there are different kinds of fungal diseases over here. Here you can see bacterial diseases. Bacterial diseases, you can see bacteria at a later stage oozing out. Like for example, when we grow the bacteria onto a media plate, so we can see like slimy colonies growing onto the media. Similarly, when bacteria are causing disease on the plants, it also causes the oozing out of bacterial colonies. Here you can see yellow mosaic disease caused by a virus. Here we can see stunting of some part of this plant, and these are mycoplasma related infections. And here we can see a typical example of a phytoplasma disease, which is broom disease of Lyme, and it is prevalent in Oman, also in many other Lyme species in the world. Now, diseases can further be classified based on the infection process. Some diseases are infectious and some diseases are non-infectious. First, let us just discuss the non-infectious diseases. Non-infectious diseases are actually caused by some environmental factors. Okay, so the basic cause of these are abiotic factors like nutrient deficiency and unfavorable condition, excess of water or excess of nutrients, or lack of water and lack of nutrients, soil conditions, or any mechanical injury can lead to non-infectious diseases. Why? Look at this. These are non-infectious diseases of tomato, and these kind of diseases, they cannot be transmitted from one plant to another because their cause is not animate or their cause is not a infectious agent. On the other hand, infectious diseases are such diseases which can be transferred from one plant to another plant. Why? Because the pathogen which is causing this disease can spread from one plant to another plant, like viruses and viroids, fungi, bacteria. They can be spread from one plant to another plant and they can lead to infection. Now, based on the sign and symptoms produced by the pathogen. So, there are several diseases which are classified based on the sign and symptom. Rust, which makes a typical rust appearance like this. Smuts, like this. Powdery mildews, we can see powder like fungi on the leaves. Downy mildews, patches, and when we invert this leaf we will see the fungi. Root rots caused by many fungi, also nematodes. Wilts, so the wilts caused by the pathogen, or the wilts can be caused by lack of water. Blights, blights are also caused by the fungi as well as bacteria. And cankers. Okay, so these diseases, they are classified on the basis of sign and symptoms of the disease. Signs and symptoms we have discussed in our previous lecture. The signs is the physical presence of a pathogen, while symptom is the uh, appearance or visual appearance of the leaves, which is showing the disease but not the pathogen. And here, fruit rots. So fruit rots are easy to classify. You can just see fungus growing on the fruits. And leaf spots, variable leaf spots like black spots, you can see dark brown spots, spots with gray center. Okay, so all of those were described on the basis of their appearance, signs and symptoms. Now, relation to their occurrence. So how a disease occurs. So based on that, they can be classified into endemic diseases which are present throughout the year. Year to year they are there. They are either moderate in some seasons or they are severe, and it also depends on the particular geographical region like countries and districts or location. For example, some of the diseases of the rice, for example, sheath blight and the blast, okay, they are present in some areas and they are creating an havoc, while in other locations they are not as dreadful. Then epidemics or epiphytotic diseases, so they occur periodically and they are particularly in a very severe form. They might be occurring in the locality every year but assume severe form only on occasions due to the favorable environmental conditions. So now it's telling us the role of environmental conditions in creating an epidemic or epiphytotic disease. Then sporadic diseases. So sporadic diseases can occur at irregular intervals and locations, and they have only few instances. And pandemic diseases, the pandemic diseases may be an endemic in one region and epidemic in another region. So they can be like, having one mode in one part of the world and other mode in other part of the world. When epiphytotic become prevalent through a country, continent or the world, the disease may be termed as pandemic. So today